Hi there, my lovely English 111 writing an inquiry folks. It is so nice to have this class with you and to share space with you, even though it is online. And so my name is Ms. Robinson, and I am your English 111 instructor. Here is my email if you ever need to get in contact with me. I will be walking through the first couple of weeks on Moodle to just kind of get you oriented, and I'll have one of these videos every week with varying degrees of lecture depending on what we're going over. But just so that you know, this week is going to be very much just like a getting to know you and an introduction. So here's our class. We are writing an inquiry. We begin on June 8th today and end August 3rd. So what you need to be able to notice about the way that the schedule is built is that you've got all of your pre-class resources, all that stuff's here. Just make sure that you register for the HOP because the HOP will count you as present. And so it will drop you from the class if you do not complete the HOP. So please make sure you do that. Also, here is the announcements page. I will send out announcements every week and I'll include videos. So please make sure that you keep tabs on that every week. All right. So a couple of things for our course overview. So this is writing an inquiry, and it's one of my favorite classes to teach because I love first year composition and teaching students how to read and how to write critically. So this is a foundational English course, and so there are some competencies that you must demonstrate in this class to move on to other classes. So if you follow along with me and click on your syllabus, please. So in the syllabus, you're going to notice, okay, that we are asynchronous, all right? So the summer course, I'm sorry, this is the withdrawal date, I think, is July 15th if you need it. Here are our course competencies. So by the end of this class, what I am very passionate about is making sure that you understand that writing is recursive, that you understand how to collaborate, you understand rhetoric, metacognition, evaluating and incorporating sources, and composing texts that are rhetorically effective. So those are the things that I'm going to focus on primarily. The Norton Field Guide to Writing 7th edition is what we use. And so if you have a 6th edition, that's okay. The 6th edition is fine. There might be some page numbers that are off a little bit. A couple of things to just note is that active participation is essential. So I need to be able to see that you're interacting on the boards, doing annotations, doing videos, interacting. It becomes really easy to disappear into the web in these classes. And so it's very important that you stay present, stay focused, stay engaged so that you can be successful. So for my class, for the grading practices, what you need to know about the grading practices is that I do like a combination of workshops and activities and then forum posts that equal about 40%. And then you've got your core assignments. These core assignments are what illustrate that you understand what you're doing. And so I have a literacy narrative, a rhetorical analysis, a scientific method paper, and then a recorded community presentation. So a lot of these kind of go together. But the scientific method paper is developing your abilities for the final exam. And the final exam is proctored on HCC campus. And so that is something that you must come in person to do, and unless you live outside of an hour-long window. And then I have more information here on what each core assignment is asking for, and that's in the syllabus so that you can peruse that. And I'll explain them as we get closer, of course. But these are the main descriptions. And then the other thing that I need you all to look at in a lot of detail is my acceptable use AI policy. AI does degenerate your critical thinking. It can help in some ways, but I will not accept work that is produced by AI. So please make sure that you are using your own brain. I also on here have some really good guides to like how to be successful and to complete an English course, especially online, just because it can be a lot harder in an online setting. So one thing I would make sure that you know how to plan ahead, ask questions, and make sure that you read my feedback as you get closer. Even study groups are really helpful for online classes, just so that you have other people that you can like bounce ideas off of. So that's kind of like where the syllabus lies, but what I think is more interesting for most of us is the reading list. So I try to make a pretty good reading list so that we have a variety of different types of works that we can read. That being said, like we do a lot more technical pieces. Oops, wait. Share this tab instead. There I am. Okay. We have a lot of technical pieces that we read just so that you can understand format. But what I do try to do is I try to develop it so that there's like some really cool pieces of fiction and nonfiction that have more literary quality that's not so dry, you know. So for this first week, here's our reading guide. And so this is on the first day. It's kind of like a day by day schedule. And so we're kind of focusing on the habits of mind and getting started, and we're orienting to our course today. And then this week, your job is to read Developing Academic Habits of Mind, which is chapter 4 in your Norton Field Guide to Writing. Porter O'Donnell's Beyond the Yellow Highlighter. Okay. And then James Clear's How to Start New Habits That Actually Stick. So we're focusing mostly just on habits of mind this week. What you are going to be asked to do is to watch this video. Congratulations, you're watching this video. And then from there, complete the syllabus and AI policy quiz so that I know that you actually paid attention, that you read it, you understand my policies, and then to do your intro and norm post with your very first annotation. So every week I'll try to like make sure that this is following pretty much the same as Moodle, but always go default to Moodle just in case there might be some additional things that are posted there. Speaking of Moodle, let's talk about it. All right. Here we go. Beautiful. Okay. So on here, if we're here, I also have a welcome letter. So feel free to read that anytime you have a moment. We're going to start with this week, June 8th through 14th. Okay. So speaking of Moodle. All right. So here is what you need to make sure that you do. Please make sure that you actually scroll to the full module so that you can see everything in the module. Okay, so what you're going to see this week is I'm going to have the introduction video. That's this one that'll be posted here. And then what I just went over with your task list. Okay, the readings are posted here. I've got my AI policy, I've got my grading and assessment guidelines here. And then I've got Beyond the Yellow Highlighter and then some class discussion notes. There's nothing that you have to do with this. It's just helpful. Essay 1 instructions. We will be going over Essay 1 at the beginning of next week, but I do ask in English 045 if you could go ahead and start looking over that. So it is helpful if you want to go ahead and expect what's happening. You are going to post a personal introduction here, which is a video. So for your video here, this is different from the one in English 45. So if you are in that one, it's a little bit different. But you're going to introduce a 1-minute video of you talking about yourself as a scholar. And so I want you to tell me what's something that brings you here, what's a goal that you have, and a challenge that you have in general, and anything that you want to say that you are willing to share. I would like this to be a video, so please know that you will be sharing it with other humans. But if you want to write me an email and talk to me about anything in personal, we can do that as well. But what you need to do with that is that you need to close with one habit in mind that you want to lean on in this term. Okay. So like I want to lean on persistence or grit or any of the other habits of mine. And you can use these as a way to start if you're having trouble. And so use chapter 4 as your guideline for that. And then after you post, connect with your classmates by talking to them. You can write them a note, you can respond to them in a video, whatever. But then I give you a little like how to record in Moodle section. So that's our introduction page. And then you're going to take an syllabus AI and assessment quiz, which is going to ask you for details on our assessment policies. And then the last thing that you're asked to do today or this week is to annotate this piece, which is by Elizabeth Hobeck, which talks about high school students think they're ready for college, but they are not, and what your thoughts are about that text. And what you're going to be doing with this, by the way, is you're going to be using a program called Harmonize. Harmonize, you may or may not have used before. It's great. I love it. But it's a digital annotation software. So it's going to ask you to read a document and actually annotate on the document directly. And so I ask you to make 3 annotations for each of these. So these are formative pieces. And so when you look over the syllabus, there's formative and then core work. Formative pieces, it's like you do it or you don't do it. So so Harmonize does auto calculating. So if you don't meet deadlines, or if you don't like have all 3 annotations, or if you don't have all of the posts, it will mark it as incomplete. So I do go back and review those things and make sure that like if you did it, that you're getting the credit that you owed. But just like be aware of the guidelines, be aware of the expectations, and know like when you need to actually post so that it doesn't accidentally kick it back to incomplete on accident. I do review them, but that does happen frequently. You need to know that most every week you will have your initial post due on Thursday and your responses due on Sunday. So if you have like just one thing that you have to do, like an annotation exercise, it'll be Sunday. But if it's a reply post or if it's a forum, you will need to make sure that you reply by Sunday. All right. Okay, so those are our 3 tasks for the week. If you want to navigate and bop around Moodle a little bit, you absolutely can. There are some things that are blocked for you right now just because I haven't fully fleshed out or built them all in order, and I don't want you to get confused. But if you want to bop around to like the final exam, you can I'll open that up for you so that you have access to the final exam information and then also to the core assignments. If you are a planner and if you like to make things, like if you want to make sure that your plans are clear and you know when things are, there we go. There we go. Okay, so if you are a planner, then you might want to visit the core assignments section. The core assignments gives you like all of the ways in which I'm going to measure mastery. So these are like your test grades, better or worse, like they're summatives. So I don't test you per se, but they are like how I'm going to be assessing like how much you've mastered. So your first one will be due June 28th. That's your personal literacy narrative. And then you've got a Space Cat analysis 1-pager, and then your research project and presentation. So on that note, I hope that all of you have a wonderful first week with your summer term and that we get to know each other very well. And I look forward to meeting you all in one way or another. Bye.